It looks a total mess, and it is. It really is. It's not going to fall down, but there is no engineering pattern to that whatsoever. It was built round about the 1300s, basically, with timber from Nottingham Forest, from Sherwood Forest in Nottinghamshire. They bought the timber here. There is 150 tonnes of timber up there and 50 tonnes of lead. So it's a huge weight. And for hundreds of years, it wasn't actually attached to the spire. It was just lodged, sort of sat in like an egg in an egg cup. So there was nothing actually attaching it in. Now we have a few cross bracings. There's one huge beam there, that one there, that goes from the belfry below, and that goes right the way up to the tip of the spire. But if you see these ones that just come down inside the walls, that's where it was just slotted in, and it wasn't actually attached. Most of these are the original old timbers. Some are obviously modern strengthening, but the vast majority are the original timbers. If you see the ones that are crossed like that, up there, they are the original ones. And this here, with the, you can see the hole there in it, there was a wheelless, a big, huge wheel that was in a room just below here, where two men would walk, and it would pull up the timber to build the spire. So there was a direct route all the way down. It goes right above the central altar, through this door, through a door in the belfry, the bells weren't there at that point, all the way down through the central altar, and they had two men, it was a bit like hamsters in a wheel, and there go the bells. And that is brilliant. You can just pop into the museum and see it. There's no charge to go in. It is huge. And you can just imagine these two men walking around in it and pulling all the timber and slate up to construct the spire. We'll go out the top, and I'll tell you the story, or some of the stories, about the spire when we were sitting down in the ringing room. But I think we'll probably want to go outside and have a look at the view now, and then we'll head down. The 10 bells that we saw above here are obviously attached to these 10 ropes. And the heaviest, I should let the bell ringers talk about this, I'm not a bell ringer, is this one, is that right?
It is.
Yeah, that's the 10 bell.
2,500 weight.
Say again?
2,500
Do you
weight.
want to talk about the bells? Because you'll know about the bells.
Yeah, probably will as well, yeah. As you can see, there are 10 bells here. This is the heaviest, this is one's 2,500 weight. And to get this bell in the upward position, just get this down here. When the bell is in the upward position, and you can see that this is how the bell is when it's in the upward position, mouth upwards.
Like that.
Now, to get this going, it needs two of us on it to make sure the clapper is on the correct side of the bell, which is this side. So when it's set, the clapper must be on the lowest side of the bell. If it isn't, Then the bell's on the wrong side. So, once the bell is raised, and it's holding for general ringing, but well, not to sound like the because there's people obviously up there. So,
I'll talk to you about the spire then.
yeah, talk to us about Spire.
I'll talk to you about the spire because everybody wants to know why the spire is crooked. And the honest answer is nobody absolutely knows for sure. If you go to the museum, because I did this, I used to be verger here and I'd have my story about why the spire is twisted. And I went across to the museum and they told me a totally different story. And I was like, I think the answer is, obviously, it was a very long time ago. Nobody knows for sure. But the most likely scenario is that the timber frame was constructed. It was intended to be twisted. That is the belief, that it was intended to be a twisted spire like that. And so it was constructed with a twist for decorative purposes, to look beautiful. At that point in time, and this is a little bit of fact, the plague hit Chesterfield. We know that because of historical evidence. I said to somebody when we were at the top, where those tents are and everybody's sitting and having their picnics, that was a plague pit. In the 13th century, that was a plague pit. They're a long way down, but that was a plague pit. And we know that that was the point in time when we can assume a lot of the workforce in Chesterfield was annihilated by the plague. So the timbers were left unseasoned, untreated to goodness knows what weather. We can only imagine, can't we? They came back to it after, again, decades. Presumably they came back to it, finished it, and at that point it would just be timber. There was no lead on it. So they clad it in lead, so it had lead from planks on the outside, twisted. That was their spire. Then they realised that it had leaned a little bit. So they, just by eye, they thought, whoa, that spire's leaning. It must be getting wet. I know what we'll do. We'll put 50 tonnes of lead on it, which is what they did. They put 50 tonnes of lead on it, and of course the weight of the lead then caused it to go even more, which accounts for the twist. It was designed that way, but the lean is on account of the weight of the lead, and that makes it crooked. That's the most likely story, but there are other possibilities. One that will probably have contributed is that the sun obviously hits the same place as the lead all the time, and the lead expands and contracts with the sun. And in very, very hot weather, the lead will expand, and so it's going to push a little bit, and then it will contract again. So that's going to have contributed to the movement. There's a graph over here which that the devil was having his hoof at the blacksmith's, having his shoe put on his hoof at the blacksmith's in Bolsover, and the blacksmith hit a nail into his skin rather than the horseshoe bit that goes on, and he flew off, and he was so cross he grabbed hold of our spire and twisted it like that as he went past. Take that as you will. One, not for children, is that the spire was so amazed to see a beautiful virgin getting married in church that it leant over to have a look. And it says the next time a beautiful virgin gets married in the church, it will straighten itself. Yeah. And the fact it never has isn't really a good message for Chesterfield, is it?
Right,
are you able to have a talk of showing the bells then? Yeah. I've done mine a little bit.
Yeah. We'll just show how it's rung then, just ring normal, then we'll get down straight after. Okay. Show how it's done. Right, this is how it's done.
We'll have to say things. Look to, everyone's got to watch it. Because imagine there's a lot of us. And then I suppose this is the fifth, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fifth is going.
And this is the seventh.
The fifth is gone.